Welcome back to the Northeast Florida Surf Fishing Forecast. This video was shot Monday afternoon next to the Jacks Beach Pier. Just showing a little bit of progress. They've added 3 or 4 more pilings, but it's still going to be a while. But on a good note, the water is absolutely beautiful in Northeast Florida right now. The bad news is tons of catfish. The good news again, tons of sand fleas have shown up just in the last few days. Now, if we could just get some good fish on them. I've talked to several people Monday afternoon, and it was very mixed results, but the one constant was a lot of catfish. And we're going to talk about the Florida Surfcasters tournament held this Saturday and what's coming up this week and the weekend, guys. So thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button, and we got a little bit of advice to offer here coming up. I got some sand fleas to show you and which size I like to use that's been catching the fish. The big ones are not the best bait. Same with the shrimp. You don't want to use those huge pieces of shrimp. I tried to get them on video here, but the wave wasn't strong enough. What's up? Like I said, we got a little bit of advice, a little bit of tips like we always do. First things first, Florida Surfcasters tournament held this past Saturday. It was rough, very rough, in fact. In fact, the opening picture is my daughter fishing. Speaking of fishing, she's now 2 for 2 this year in tournaments. She won the Fish Bites tournament, the junior division, and she won the Florida Surfcaster junior division. So obviously I need to take some tips from her. But we're gonna talk about that first. So normally I would not fish on days like that when it's that rough, but she really wanted to fish the tournament. So we signed up, I think Friday night about 11. You had till 11:59 to sign up. Signed up. We knew the spot we like to fish in Ponte Vedra is an outgoing tide spot. So while everyone else was up at 6:30 and fishing, we didn't even get down to the beach till about 12. And the fish she caught is a 1.22 pound whiting. Funny thing is how we caught it. So I was wading out in the water a little bit to cast where the drop off was against 25-mile-an-hour winds. And I hit a couple of holes in the surf that you couldn't see because of the waves, and they went up over my knees. So I said, brought the rod back, and I said, we need to throw your rod right there. So we threw her rod right where I stepped in one of those holes. And within 30 seconds, she caught the whiting. So that's that. We had another big one on in the same hole, but it came off. And then after that, we caught several more as the tide went out. So lesson learned from now on, even when it's rough, if I know some areas where there's just little divots, those fish still got to feed. And they'll be in that shallow water feeding in those little holes because there's tons of sand fleas in Ponte Vedra right now. Another thing, the sinker guys, Sputniks, they hold. What can I say? They held perfectly, even in that insane wind and current. I was using 4-ounce Sputniks and they were holding in place. If I'd have been using a 4-ounce storm sink or a pyramid, I wouldn't have had a chance. So, lesson learned, always have your Sputniks. 2, in rough weather like that, I was using 11-foot rods. If you were using anything shorter, that rod just gonna constantly be, you have to try to get up above the waves as much as you can, or else if you got a short rod in that kind of rough weather, that line's gonna take a beating and it could just pull the Sputnik out, I guess. I talked to a few people over the weekend who said they couldn't get theirs to hold, and I think the problem is if you don't throw it far enough out, it doesn't have a chance to set. So I could be wrong. There's always something I learn, and I'm definitely learning every day. If you ever get to the point in surf fishing where you think you know it all, probably time to hang it up because you'll never know it all and you just got to keep fishing. And we use Diet Pepsi shrimp for the win for her, so she's excited. If you have kids, take them fishing. One of the best things to do, get them involved in outdoors. Get them off those games and on the outdoors. But anyways, the last few days, Sunday was pretty good. Saw some good pictures from Para and Alexa. They had some nice whiting and pompano. A few other people had some nice pompano. Josh had some nice pompano. But Monday, with the clean water, 10 out of 10, it was Sailcat City. Big sailcats all up and down the beach. And if you went north, heard a few reports of pompano being reeled in and sharks eating them. So what a weird day. Hopefully we don't get the seaweed. The seaweed is really starting to get thick further south with all this continuous east wind. We don't need that to come in. That will be play heck on us. Speaking of the winds, the next 3 days, pretty much east, northeast, 12 to 25 all 3 days. And in fact, Wednesday and Thursday, looking at the surf, it could get up to 4 to 6 foot. So that's a long, I guess, a groundswell. I follow a guy, his name is Dabuh, D-A-B-U-H, on Instagram. He's like a surf guru around here. He's real good at forecasting swell events and hurricanes and all of that. So if you don't know who he is, go look him up and follow him. I've been following him, and we got some serious swell headed this way. So you'll need your Sputniks. Bring your sand flea rake, plenty of sand fleas along the beach here in Northeast Florida. And fish the outgoing tide, because on the high tide, Jack's Beach, if you can find a hole, there's a few new holes in Jack's Beach I've seen, and in Ponte Vedra, like I said. For the most part, fish the outgoing tide because the bigger waves will be on the sandbar and further out. So at the dead low in the first like hour and a half, 2 hours of incoming, you'll be able to fish the trough. Hopefully there'll be something more than catfish. But sand fleas are there, fresh shrimp, clam, fish bites. A lot of people were tipping their baits with fish bites over the weekend in that rough weather and doing pretty good. They're still drumming the surf. I would imagine the redfish will start showing up soon. There's been a few schools of mullet showing up as well. So the more mullet that get in the surf, the more reds there will be. Speckled trout, haven't heard too much of those the last few days. So they come and go. Around the full moon during the summer months, they really come in along the beaches to spawn. So next full moon, they should be pretty thick again. Saw some nice Spanish caught over the weekend as well. Saw one that looked to be about 23, 24 inches caught from the surf. So if you got a spoon or a gotcha, throw it on the low tide if you can. It still may be hard. You get that 4 to 6 foot surf, it makes it hard to throw a lure. So that's that. The water temperature actually dropped again here in Jack's Beach, 71. In Fernandina, it's 71. Flagler, 75. So we keep hovering. That 71 is a good temperature. Hopefully that doesn't mean the pompano have moved past us. In fact, I keep getting reports of good numbers in Crescent. So hopefully that means we're still in for a pretty decent run up here in Northeast Florida. They're definitely, according to the pier logs that I've been looking at, they're behind this year, but we've also had cooler water this year. Last year at this time, the pompano run was already over. We're catching flounder and trout all in the surf. The whiting were pretty much gone, just a few scattered ones. The water was like, I looked at it yesterday, 77 already this time last year. So, and the reason I know it is because I have pictures that they pop up randomly. Last year around this time, we hooked several of those huge cow nose rays, and they always come in when that water warms up to spawn. I have not seen any of those yet. So if y'all see them, let me know. That means the water's getting right. Kingfish, they're still catching some, I believe off the Flagler Pier from what I heard. If we had our pier in Jack's Beach, we'd be catching them here too, I do believe. But if you have a boat or a kayak, if it ever calms down, get out there and fish. If you want to catch a king, I think the cobia are pretty much moved on. The rays, I haven't seen any rays in the last week and a half or so. But that's all I got, guys. Get out there and fish. Pretty good tides this week. You got low in the morning and low in the evening, high tide in the middle of the day. So you can either fish before you go to work or fish after work. Middle of the day with the high tide and 4 to 6 foot surf, not worth it anyways. But the water is clean. Try to get a report up tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday. Oh, almost forgot. My special visitors. Okay. So these are the sand fleas. Now that's about the size of a quarter. Looks pretty. You think, oh, bigger bait, bigger fish. They're not eating these big ones right now. So, get this size. Looks big on camera maybe. It's about the size of a dime. These are working great. The fish are gorging themselves on them. When I've been cleaning the whiting And the drum, they're full of the small ones. Not too many big ones are in their stomach. So, small guys, remember that. Elephants eat peanuts, and fish don't mind eating little sand fleas either. So don't forget to subscribe. Send us some reports. We'll put your picture up. We haven't got too many pictures lately, but that's okay. We'll keep putting out the information and hope you can keep catching. Till next time, guys, tight lines.